So we're going to take a seated posture to start with. 45 minutes of fun, as they say. So this posture can literally be any position you want it to be. As long as it's easy. You're going to sit up nice and tall. Let that spine out a little bit. Just wriggle the pelvis around underneath. Get it settled. Let the groins open a little. And then we'll bring the hands together, interlace, and bring the forearms together and just roll the wrists around a little bit. And then we're going to release the fingers out, take the arms out wide. Let's bring that right arm across into a little surface stretch. And we'll release that out, take it out to the left side, coming across. And we'll release there. Just roll the shoulders around a few times, literally. And then we'll take them in a few times in the opposite direction, see how that feels. Get as much flexion and extension in the spine as you wish. We'll take the arms out wide again. We'll take the right arm up towards the sky, bend the elbow, and take the hand behind the back of the head into the nape of the neck. And we're just going to draw the elbow back with the other hand a little bit more into the center line of the body. So we're opening that shoulder out a bit more. And then we'll open the arms back out again, take the other arm up, fold that elbow in, there's the other hand again, just as we did before. So the elbow goes towards the back of the mat a little bit. We'll try and bring it over the center line of the body. Breathe into the ribs, feel that shoulder blade and side body start to open up. Talking of side bodies, we'll release the hands back out again. Bring them down to the floor and walk the fingers out to the left. Take the right arm up to the sky action. Float the arm out. Just forward that hand over the crown of the head. And we'll sink the bottom elbow down a touch and see if we can keep the right knee close to the ground. Take a few breaths here. And we'll press away from the ground, bring that hand back up, walk out to the other side. Arm high, fold it over. A little bend in the elbow. You'll see out the corner of your eye, your knee lift on the opposite side. That gives you an opportunity to go, press that back down. And we'll release back out of there. We're coming into down dog territory. So swing the legs around and move the block out to the side. Just let ourselves lift up and step back. Just walking it out. It's the first down dog of the day, literally. Let those tailbones lift up towards the sky. You can put a bend in the knee to open out the back of the shoulders a little bit more. Drawing the belly in, making sure the hands are nice and flat. So just a few more breaths here. Getting those big knots out of the calf muscles, back of the hamstrings. Feeling the feet stretch out as well. And then we're going to walk the feet to about halfway down the mat. And make sure the feet are a nice hip distance apart. We'll walk the fingers in. Take another breath. Just have the hands, fingertips on the floor, so we've got a relatively straight back. Again, we're trying to lift the tailbone up towards the sky. And then we'll soften the knees deep. Let the ribs sit all the way down, so we come into quite a big squat there. We'll take the hands away from the floor and lengthen them out, palms facing. Drive through the legs to lift up. Take a little bit of a back bend. Bring your hands into the heart. Hinge over the hips. Take it back into that flat line again. Bring the fingers to the floor and then draw the chest forwards a little. And then we'll squat down again. Ease the hands away from the floor. Drive through the legs on the exhale. Little back bend. Bring the hands in towards the heart. Come down again. Just halfway. Fingers to the floor. So it might be a little bit more than halfway. Depends on how long your legs are. Drawing the chest forwards. And then we'll soften the knees. Take the hands forwards again. Drive evenly through the legs. Little back bend. Hands in towards the heart. Let the hands come down by the side. Just going to roll the right shoulder around. The biggest, juiciest circles you can make. And then we'll take it to the left side. Again, really nice and big. A little faster than maybe your breath is. So these are quite sort of rapid rotations. And then we'll see if we can get both to go together. And the opposite way. Now, if it wasn't so early in the morning, we'd get one shoulder going one way and one the other way. But I'm not sure my body's going to cope with that first thing in the morning. Okay. Take a little breath, bring the hands in towards the heart. Draw the belly in. Down to the floor. We're going to walk the fingers up to the front of the mat. Step ourselves gently back into a plank. Lift up into down dog. Come forwards into plank. Back into down dog. Into plank. Would you believe it? One more. Down dog to the plank. And bring the knees down to the ground. Take ourselves into child's pose. If you're able to take the head all the way to the floor, you can release the hands to the back of the mat. Otherwise, just bring the hands underneath the head. Knees are quite narrow. Definite effort into breathing into the belly. Feel the ribs respond with that stretch as the diaphragm expands. If the glutes are a little bit tight, you'll be feeling those pull as well, maybe the lower back. So wherever your body is tight, child's pose is always a good finding place for you. It tells you quite quickly where you've got tightness you maybe didn't recognise. Now we'll slowly bring the hands forwards again, up to the front of the mat. And take a little breath from there. Roll the hands back in. So we're sitting on top of the heels, nice and upright. Take the arms out wide as we breathe in. Bring the palms together. Interlace the hands. Take the index finger up towards the sky and wrap the arms around the side of the ears. So really lifting up, drawing the belly in and sending the tailbone back. The hinge forwards, slowly down towards the floor. Let the hands reach the ground. Let the head fall down. And then just roll the spine back up again. So it's a nice, gentle, flowing movement. It does emphasize the work through the legs. You have to kind of press them into the floor and send the tailbone back as you draw the belly in. And rolling it around. And one more. Now this time as we come down to the ground, we're going to come all the way onto our bellies. So just walking the legs back and we'll flip onto our spine. So you choose which way you roll around. Make yourself to wriggle out the spine once you've arrived. And then bring the feet in towards your bottom. We'll draw the right knee in towards the chest, slide the left leg out, draw the belly down to the spine, a little internal rotation in that extended leg as the foot flex and toes point towards the sky. And then we'll flex the right foot as well and start to draw the right knee in towards the shoulder, armpit area a little bit more. Do work on drawing and contracting your abdominal muscles downwards, drawing the waist in. And then we'll release the feet back to that starting position. Take the left leg into the hands, slide the right leg out, get that little internal rotation going in. Draw the belly down, flex that foot towards the sky and spread the toes, then flex your left foot and start to ease the knee closer towards the armpit. And again, we release. And we'll bring the feet in close to the bottom. Now we're going to come up onto the tiptoes, squeeze the thighs together a little bit, draw the belly down and the lower back to the floor. And take the arms out wide. You're going to have the knees directly over the hips and then the shins parallel to the floor. So a nice little right angle going on. Now we're going to try and keep that right angle and allow the legs to come forwards and just tap the toes on the floor and then lift them back slowly to that starting position. Now trying to do that without letting the pelvis rock forwards. So you're drawing your top of the back of the pelvis into the ground, and you're moving very slowly with the breath. And trying to remember how that 90 degrees-ish feels between the calf and the back of the hamstring. And last time, tapping the floor. And as you bring the knees up, wrap your arms around the back of the thighs. Draw the knees in towards the chest, chin in towards the chest as well. Little rock on the spine. And we're going to roll back over onto the front. Take the hands down to the bottom of the ribs. Roll the shoulders back, press into the floor, bring those knees underneath. We'll come back up on top fours. Take a little down dog. And we'll come up onto the tiptoes and just walk the feet in slowly, keeping the feet hip distance apart, legs straight, head down, bum high, in towards the front of the mat. And then just taking the secret little waddle up to the front of the mat. Bring the hands onto the hips and we'll lift, soften the knees, flat back. Inhale high with the hands. Into the heart. Over we go down to the floor, Uttanasana. Now I'll take the right foot back into lunge. On the fingertips we lift. Drop the heel in on the next breath. Bring hands onto the front thigh to lift. Take the hands across the front of the body and out to open up into Warrior Two. Now float the hands high. Rotate the body. Spin the back heel up. High plank into half plank. Taking up dog as you breathe in, lengthen the legs. Roll the belly in, roll up into that down dog. And we'll draw the right knee in towards the chest for lunge. Onto the fingertips, remember strong back legs, press out, feel the groin opens, and then push off the toes to ease into that forward fold. Bend in a little deeper, hands onto the hips and lift up. Take it to the second side. Hands high, through the heart and down. So you already start to draw the belly in. You get a little lift to the thighs as you take the weight into the toes. Hold it in deep. Slide that left foot back into lunge. Lift the chest. Roll the shoulders back as you breathe in. Drop the heel on the exhale. Inhale the hands onto the thigh to inhale your way up into your Warrior Two. Just check your alignment of the front knee over the ankle. And then bring the hands high. Extend out. Belly draws in to give a little support to the back as you come down. We come into the plank, to half plank. Up dog as we breathe in. Down dog as we breathe out. And we'll draw that left knee in, bring it through. On a nice exhale. Inhale forwards on the lunge. Forward fold, exhale down. Tailbones lift, and then hands onto hips as we come back up. Inhale high. I'll make this a little more complex as we exhale down to the floor. We'll step the right foot back into lunge. We'll take the left foot back to a three-legged down dog. Scissoring up. Bring the knee back in towards the chest and bring the foot through to the front of the mat. Drop the back heel in, bring the hands onto the front side to open up into warrior two. Lift the hands up above the head. We're going to spiral the chest and hips and spin on the back. Ball of the foot. Take the arms out wide to the side. Palms face up and drop the back knee down to the floor. We'll lift up. Come back down. Now you're actually trying to turn the tailbone down towards the floor, and that draws the ribs in and the belly in a little bit for you. As we come up for the final time, we'll take the hands up and then extend back out and down into that plank position. Take the half plank. A little breath in for the up dog. Lift the hips up for down dog. Take a nice breath. Bring the right knee in, through to the front of the mat. Super big lunge. Press off the toes. Hips high, head low. Hands onto the hips and we lift up. Do it again. So left foot back. Right foot back into three-legged dog, scissor up. Draw the knee in towards the chest and bring that foot through for the lunge. Drop the back heel, open up into warrior two. Hands onto the thigh. Inhale, hands high. Rotate the body. Find balance. Hands out, palms up. Wide shoulders. Slowly drop the knee down as you exhale. Inhale it up. Give yourself time to think about where your tailbone is. You have to be careful about how quickly we bring the knee down. So do focus a little bit on that. Come out for the third time. Hands come high. Extend forwards. Step it into the plank for the half. Taking the up dog to down dog. Draw the left knee in. Bring the foot through. Step it forwards. Hold it down. Hands onto the hips. Lift it up. Inhale high. Hands up to the heart. Now we're supposed to have in the big plan a small breath moment there. Took a little longer than I thought, so our breath moment was 3 seconds. We're supposed to have a 0 on the end. Sorry about that. Put the hands up high. Exhale through and down. Now I'm going to take the right foot to the back of the mat. Drop the heel in. And we're going to bring both hands on the inside of that front leg. And then we'll take the forearm that's closest into the thigh onto the thigh. Float the right arm back and up towards the sky. So come into an extended side angle from the floor. I'm going to wrap this top arm around the back and see if we can take the hand to somewhere between the hip bone and the knee bone, halfway down the thigh. And we're going to go for reverse bind. So we're going to just take another moment to draw the ribs around to the long side of the mat. Open that shoulder up in the back. And then we're going to let the bottom hand slide back down to the floor. Stabilize ourselves as we breathe in and lengthen the body already towards the front of the mat. Wrap the arm under. Find some fingers. Bring the hips back onto the center line. So that's how we make the space. And we release out. Hand to the floor, hand to the sky. Now press down through the front to lift up into our warrior two. Take the hands high, rotate down to the floor. We're going to step it towards the front of the mat. And bring the hands onto the hips, soften the knees and lift ourselves up. Hands come high, into the heart. Fold it over. Taking the left foot back, take a little breath. Drop the heel in, bring the hands onto the inside of the front leg. That forearm comes in. Take the left hand towards the hip and up towards the sky. Draw in the rib cage round. A little bit of weight still in that back foot. And keep connected to the ground. Now I'm going to slowly bring that arm around. Give it plenty of time to understand where we're trying to move to. Last couple of breaths, rolling that shoulder up towards the sky. And then we'll slide that bottom hand down to the floor. Take a little breath. Fold it underneath. Bring the hips back over the center line. Charge the chest forwards. And we'll release the hands. One to the sky, one to the floor. Press our way back up into warrior two. Float the arms high. Rotate down to the floor. Spin the back heel. Step it into the front of the mat. Fold it in deep. And then bring the hands onto the hips. Into the chest forward as you soften the knees and lift up. Shake it all out. We come back into about the middle of the mat. Move the block crosswise. We'll stand onto the corner edges with the heels, toes pointed out. Hands in towards the heart. Going to slide down the imaginary brick wall behind us. And just let the knees follow the toes. So come down slowly. So no big surprises for the knees. We'll bring the elbows in gently. And then the hands in towards the heart. Draw the belly in a little bit. Try and lift the chest up. So working to get the back nice and flat and long. A little time to let the breath settle. And I'm going to let the hands come to the floor behind us. Onto the block. Take both legs out as wide as we can. And then once I've done that, with the toes pointing up towards the sky, I'm going to bring the left heel in towards the ground. Allow the body to turn towards that left knee into a little bit of a gentle twist. So the right hand's going to come out to the left side. Look over the left shoulder. I'm going to lengthen consciously my right leg out, so toes up towards the sky. Try and get that pelvis to feel like it's in a neutral position, so it's not rolling back or out to the sides. And then we'll take it into the second side. So we'll take the legs out again, nice and wide. Draw the foot in. Settle the sitting bones. Take the twist. Lengthen the leg out. When I start off in this position, the leg that is lengthening out always feels like the sitting bone is lifting a little bit. So it's trying to get that back down to the floor while still lengthening out through the leg, making sure the toes are pointing towards the sky and letting the spine have this space to lift and breathe into. So there's a lot of small adjustments going on. It might look like I'm still, but it's quite a lot of work, muscles contracting and trying to balance themselves out. Might look serene, but there's a fair amount of busyness going on. And then we'll release. We'll take both legs out in front, and we'll bring the heels together and flex the feet back. So we want to make sure that the big toe, little toe are about the same distance from our body. Again, we kind of rock out onto the front edge of the sitting bones. Lift the knees slightly, bring the hands onto the shins, get some space in the spine. And we'll just slide the hands down the legs. Fold the body in. See if we can take the hands around the outside edge of the feet. So we're taking hold of little toe, and then use your thumb to just press into the big toe joint. So the feet get a little sort of flatter and squarer to the body. Draw the belly in and send the tailbone back just a fraction. Now, if you're not able to reach the feet, then just hands on ankles. And then we can release. And we're going to move the block just out to the side for a moment and let ourselves roll back down to the floor. So knees high, hands behind for support. Spine rolls down to the floor. We're going to bring the feet in underneath the knees and hip distance apart, ready for bridge pose. Hands alongside the body, palms face down, and this little rock of the shoulders underneath. Now take a breath in. Draw the belly into the ground, and then let the tailbone lift. Let the thighs follow. Press gently away from the floor. Lengthen the legs forwards a little bit. Take a breath at the top. Roll the spine back down. So we're just going to make these some nice, gentle movements. Kind of one movement, one breath. Exhale on the way up. Breath at the top to lengthen the body out. And a nice exhale to roll it back down into the floor. We'll take one final lift. Pull the knees back in towards the body. And roll gently onto the right side. Use the hands to lift to come back up. I'll take the block underneath the bottom again. And lengthen the legs out, sit up nice and tall. Just rearrange the buttocks a little bit as we draw that left foot underneath. And we'll take a seated twist this time. So right foot comes across, sitting bones plant, pelvis tilts forward, spine lifts, left arm lifts and rotates around. And we'll release from there and take it to the second side. And release. The legs out in front again. This time we'll bring the right heel into the groin, knee out to the side for Janu Shirshasana. We'll square the hips, little bend in the knee, hands on the thigh. Fold over. Let the spine round this morning down. Use the hands to press back up. We'll take it to the second side. So square the hips, knee bend, height, fold over the thigh. So you want that little bit of a bend so you can get the ribs and the thighs close together and if possible touching. And then again, use the hands to press back up. We'll draw both heels in towards the body and take hold of the ankles. And then if you can, the big toes, let the knees come out. So Baddha Konasana, we're going to sit up nice and tall. And tilt the pelvis forwards a little bit. Press the little toes into the floor. And then that kind of draws the knees down for you. So rather than thinking about knees down, we just focus our energy and the movement into a different region of the body. So pressing little toes down, spine nice and long. And then we'll release. Just take the hands underneath the legs to bring them back in. Move off the block, get to the back for a little Shavasana time. So knees high again, hands behind, roll it out. Slide the heels gently out to the corner edges unless your back feels tired, in which case keep your feet wide, knees dropping. So a little TP and then TPs for the legs if the back is tired. Just allows the lower back muscles to relax a little more. And you can begin to wriggle those toes and fingers. Breathe a little deeper as we draw in the hands and the wrists into the equation. And I stretch out through the body. Ease the heels back in. Take a gentle little hug. On exhale, roll onto your right side. Take a breath down there. And exhale, roll yourself back up. So coming into that nice seated area, just roll the shoulders around a few more times. And then the opposite way. And then we'll bring the hands in towards the heart. Take a nice breath. Just slowly exhale, chin drops, belly draws in. And bow to the floor, seeing the practice. Inhale, the spine lifts with the breath. Head follows, eyes open. Namaste. Enjoy the beginning of your day. Thanks for joining me.